Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Emily Haller and I'm here with Douwe Lycklama of Innopay. Thanks very much for joining me. There's a lot of discussion around PSD2. What are the major impacts for the fintech industry?
Yeah, the PSD2, it started as a compliance activity, and as it turns out, the world has moved on in the past years, and next to this whole movement on opening up accounts, there is the whole world of fintech players has developed there. And PSD2 is in effect a real opportunity to marry the fintech world with the traditional banking world. Well, it's not prescribed in the PSD2, but let's say all the effort banks have to do to open up themselves, while doing that, they could very well consider to take it way beyond the scopes of the PSD2. And this is where I see major upside to combine the trusted reach of banks all over Europe, to combine that with the superior innovation and functionalities which fintech players offer to the customers of the banks. So at least leaders of banks have a question to themselves is whether they would like to take this opportunity and partner with these type of parties and grow the market as a whole.
There's a lot of misunderstanding about the role of the so-called TPPs. Why do they have so much impact under PSD2?
Yeah, they have an impact because suddenly you don't need to become part of a scheme to have access to accounts, be it a card account or a current account. And in the previously, prior to PSD2, that access was governed by a set of private agreements which we call schemes. And suddenly part of the scheme rules will be defined by law. So you don't need to become accepted anymore by some commercial or private company who is running a scheme. No, you can just take the law and be compliant with the prescriptions in the law. So there will be many more contenders, and this PSD2 changes the acquiring landscape, or will change that.
So the European Commission wants to drive innovation through regulation. How do you see the market embracing this?
I see a phased approach. I see banking leaders taking a proactive stance at this, and I'll see banking leaders taking a reactive stance, or even some of them are still ignoring this development. So, and it will be the leaders who will define how it's going to be shaped in the coming 24 months. And that is still to be seen. Another very important aspect is the forming of some kind of standard, because I do not believe that the banking authority will come up with a fully spec'd out version of the access to account. So they will come out with some principles, I guess, which will put up pressure towards the industry to fill in the remaining part. Because payment professionals know that the payments involves a lot of details which have to work together in order to deliver a payment, and that is the work which the payment industry still has to do. And what we should avoid is that every bank will do its own thing, because then we end up with fragmentation again. And we should strive for some form of standardization, or at least some kind of limited numbers of standards in order to offer this reach both to banks and both to the fintech players and TPPs.
Great, thank you very much. And thank you for watching.